I have shot a Polaroid every single day so far in 2024. And it's gotten me to not simply just get better at shooting Polaroids and using these cameras and playing with this temperamental photography form, but it has gotten me to better understand my own work and why I shoot what I shoot and kind of what I'm looking for the most in my images. And it's been a valuable exercise for that. Now, I will say that not every day is good. In fact, I would argue that most days are not good. So I post my photos on Instagram every Monday. You can see them on my Instagram account at Will Malone or my Polaroid Instagram account, Everyday Instant. And every Monday I post the previous week's photos. So you get 7 photos every Monday. I don't post them every single day. That would be annoying. Scanning that frequently would be a huge pain in the butt. But sometimes I will make those posts of the 7 images from the previous week and wince, because the week just was rough, and that's usually due to just life. You can't make a masterpiece every single day, and I think a lot of the times with these 365 projects, many photographers buckle under the expectation of making a good photo every single day. So if you start a 365 project of your own and just start understanding the lower bar, which is that it's gonna be rough most days, and you're okay with sharing those images, then you should be fine. But if you have too high expectations of yourself, if you want perfection every day, it's gonna bum you out really fast. But I will say, the benefits of a 365 project are that you get a lot of people that follow along with you. You meet a lot of new people along the way who are excited about this challenge you've done and are kind of rooting for you to keep going. But a question I've started to get as I've gone further down the road of this is, what is it exactly that I'm looking for in my work? So if Polaroids have gotten me to understand my work a little better, what am I doing? What am I looking for, right? And that's really what a 365 project is for, is to be practice. It's to get you to better understand yourself, your work, and just get better at the craft. So in this video, I wanted to answer the question, what am I looking for in my work? In order to do that, I wanted to talk about my favorite Polaroids that I've shot this year so far. And maybe now when you see my work going forward, you'll kind of understand maybe a little bit more of what I'm doing. To start, these are my Polaroid albums, is where they all are. These are my Polaroid albums right here, and there are a lot of them. We'll talk about this in a second, but part of the reason I'm probably not gonna continue this project next year is just because it's so resource intensive. This is the album I'm currently working on right now. This is October. This started about October 8th. If you've watched my Reclaimed Green film video, you have to see this one. You look insane in the TV one.
Why does it look like my eyes are crossed?
I don't know. You've seen a lot of these. And just go to my Instagram account, most recent post, you've seen a lot of these. So I'm not gonna go through that album today. This one is August through October. So you can just see like how much I'm shooting. If I were just shooting 1 Polaroid a day, I'd have like 3 albums, but that's just not how I work. Unfortunately, I'm kind of a loosey-goosey shooter, and Polaroid photography has made me a little bit better about that, just simply because it's so expensive and there's actual real world resources going into it. But I still, like, some days I just get the bug and I shoot a photo for the 365 and then I just kind of keep going, and then, you know, 2 or 3 packs later, there we are. So it's getting out of hand for sure. So got this, and this. So yeah, we've got a real problem on our hands here. These are the albums. This is just this year. Well, December 2023 is when it starts, but mostly this is just this year. But I have a stack of Polaroids right here, and there's a lot to go through here. I may not go through all of them, but basically what I wanted to try to express is what I'm doing here, kind of what I'm after, and this helps me as much as it may explain to you what I'm doing. I think at this point, people, when they think of Will Malone's work, what small, tiny group of people that is, who thinks about my work, when they think about my work, they probably think of double exposures, multiple exposures. I've been doing them since very early on in my photography career. in various different forms. And what I found is what most people think of double exposure as a gimmick, a party trick, just a cool option or cool thing you can do. And what I've kind of played with and tried to expand is that double exposures are actually medium within photography that has a ton of different genres in it. There's a ton of different ways to double expose an image, and I've unconsciously dedicated my photography career to kind of exploring the different ways multiple exposure photography can be used, as opposed to just sticking, flowers and heads and stuff. But these Polaroids I'm gonna show you, they're not just double exposure, but oftentimes when I shoot double exposures, I'm shooting something somewhat abstract. And that thing may feel somewhat disconnected from the context that it's in. Like the goal of a good double exposure for me is that you're combining two elements to give greater meaning to whatever's happening, right? So that's why I don't really love just the aesthetic double exposure shots with just flowers and heads. That doesn't tell me anything about the subject, doesn't tell me anything about the environment they're in, and so on and so forth. So my dream here when I shoot double exposures is that I can crash two things together. Number one, I can use double exposure to create or even reflect the vibe or feeling of that moment, right? So I can take some elements and go ahead and turn it into like a daydream or memory, because that's how it's gonna feel. When you open up a box of old photos and look through old snapshots, you don't remember every single detail from the day. You have this one window of time. And what I'm trying to do with double exposure is cram as much from that moment as I can into that one window of time. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but it maybe will make sense once I finally show you these images, which you've clicked this video to see. So you're just tired of me talking. All right, let's take a look. Maybe you'll understand what I'm referring to. This one is of my dog, Kevin, and it's not a double exposure. Not all of these are double exposures. This one was early on. The reason I like it is because it's a very definable shape. He is a miniature dachshund. Miniature dachshunds have very defined shapes, and it's just a perfect black and white. We, at this time of year, in the winter, light comes in a certain way in our house, and he just stepped right in it. In fact, I think he was slightly outside of it, and I scooched him over. And it just captured his perfect silhouette. And like, I love playing with shapes, because shapes are fun to play with in photography compositionally, but also this one, one day he's not gonna be around anymore. I'll be able to look at this and that's Kevin. Like that's what he looks like, feels like. This is honoring who he is, even though it's somewhat abstract. This is available as a print on my website right now, actually. And I actually have given up alcohol this year after this point. But I'm not like anti-alcohol or anything. I just don't drink anymore. But I really do like this. I think this would work great in like a kitchen or whatever. So that's why I made this print available on willmalone.com. It's the only sponsor to Double Negative, willmalone.com. And I think in Vegas, I think the gold frames are really cool. They don't really translate in the scans because it just turns into like baby poop green on a scan, but I think in real life they look cool. This one a lot of people like. This is a favorite for a lot of people. Also, I think available as a limited edition print on willmalone.com. This one I think I have as a small print. A lot of these I'm gonna show you are available as prints on willmalone.com because I made my favorites available as prints. So it's logic. It's not, I didn't pick these out because they're prints on my website, put them as prints on my website because they're my favorite. So anyways, listen, it's tough out there. We gotta make money. We gotta keep this going. I gotta pay for Polaroid film so I can keep shooting Polaroids. A lot of people like this one, and I understand why. It's a vibe. It's green, beautiful green, without using a special green film, which is very cool. It's just really, it's neat. I don't know. I like the vibe. I was driving past at night. I think I was hanging out with some people, and I just was like, I gotta stop and take a picture of that. And yeah, it's cool. It's a cool vibe. I don't use a laundromat because I live in the South, and I don't know. We don't use laundromats in the South that much. We don't. We all have washer and dryers. Although mine breaks all the time. So maybe I should go to a laundromat. This one is when I went to New York, which, spoiler, I'll be going back very soon for another video next month. So look forward to that. And this one, no surprise, is also a print that is available on Wimbledon.com. So, and yeah, I love this. It's just the shapes. I love shapes. You get that it's the World Trade Center. You get that it's buildings in New York. It just is, it's cool. It's nice. And it actually looks really cool blown up as a large print. You know, if you go on my Instagram and you see a lot of the photos on there, I don't do color stuff to any of my Polaroids on my Instagram. So any colors you see on the Polaroids on my Instagram account, like the scans, like that's straight out of the scan. Like I don't touch the color unless it's black and white. If it gets a little sepia looking because of temperature shifts in the Polaroid, I will suck out that orange just for my own sanity because I hate sepia. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm talking about. So this is a mural that is outside of Art Warehouse, which is where I used to work. It's where I print my stuff. I'm very close with the people that run Art Warehouse, and so I'm there a lot. And so they have this cool mural. An artist came by and asked if he could paint Yoda on the outside of the business, and they were like, heck yeah, do it. And so it's awesome. And this is just a very good springtime snapshot. I used to work there throughout my 20s, so this scene just has there's a lot of memory to it, this road, everything. So this is kind of a perfect picture that kind of encapsulates that spot. It's a big stack. I don't know if I can go through all this. This is a print as well on Wimbledon.com. I've been doing this thing where I've been shooting mugs and using the flash to kind of blow them out. And oftentimes I'm drinking coffee, so the liquid inside is pretty dark. So I can even put stuff in there because again, canvas is the shadows in a double exposure. And so this is a local coffee shop, and again, print is available at Wimbledon.com. I did not intend for this to be like a print advertising video, but you know, here we are. Really every video that I shoot stuff should be a print advertising video because it's how I make my living. Okay, skip that one. Oh, this one's cool. So this is a silhouette of my daughter. This is one of the rare times I like tore up the frame around the Polaroid. So I don't put photos of my daughter out there. I would love to shoot more of her and put them more out there, but I'm kind of weirded out by, you know, putting kids on social media and stuff. But if, you know, I can do a silhouette, double exposure, whatever, hide her identity, you know, just her full on face in photos, I do that. So this is pretty because it's just like, I recognize the shape of her head and she's cute and beautiful, and I love my daughter, and so I really like this photo. But what's notable about this photo, and we'll get to why very soon, but this tree that I used as the backbone of this double exposure happens to be the tree that fell on our house. Actually, this is April 5th, exactly a month later, on May 5th, this tree fell on our house. So that's kind of wild, actually. Another cool thing about 365 projects is you don't know necessarily what you're documenting. You may be documenting something that just might not be there soon. Another one of my daughter. So this is kind of a good collision of a snapshot and kind of ethereal dreaminess. Who knows what it is? We don't know. She has this set of bunny ears she just wears sometimes, like the Bob's Burgers girl. And she was in the backyard, and I shot a photo of this and I think a Tupperware container, and it just makes it look like who knows what, but it's cool. So, car wash. Okay, so this is cool. This is obviously a Polaroid of a car wash, which I made a whole video about the car wash. So I'm not gonna explain this photo, although you get the sense it's a car wash because it says it right there. And it fits the vibe of that particular car wash. But again, I made a whole video about the car wash, so you can watch that. Okay, so I was wrong. It wasn't exactly May 5th, it was May 9th. It was May 9th. But this is the tree that had fallen on our house that was in the earlier photo. This is my patio furniture all twisted around in this chair. So this is it looks like a crazy photo. It looks like something that's not quite real, but it is in fact a perfect document of what my backyard looked like at the time, which it was fully consumed by a tree, a giant tree that was in my daughter's head just a month before. So pretty neat, pretty cool. I mean, not cool when it happened. It was quite upsetting, actually. Big pain in the butt, dealing with insurance and all that. But we're past it now. We've moved on. We've survived it. Okay, this is cool. So this was driving in South Georgia. Went to go visit family, and driving in South Georgia. And when you drive through South Georgia, you know, I've got a lot of family down there. There's a lot of agriculture. So you drive past these fields with these giant long sprinkler things. Don't know what they're called. Irrigation somethings. And we were driving, I think my wife was driving so that I could take some photos. And so there's all this motion blur in the field. And I just got this simple, minimalist shot of what it looks like out there. And so it's not like a crazy, amazing photo, but I really like it because it's exactly what driving in South Georgia feels like. That's interesting. I wish it wasn't so dark in the mirror, but just my wife holding up a mirror and me taking a selfie of myself because I make everything about me. But anyway, I'm gonna look back at this as a fun moment in our lives where, you know, I look back at some of our old photos of us together, especially early in our marriage. We've been married for 10 years, which is wild. And it's just funny how much we used to just play, or rather I would play and just kind of make her take photos with me. And I look at some of those and I'm like, man, I had so much free time, and there was no stakes. It was we were just having fun. And this photo kind of reminds me that even though we're in our 30s now, we have a child, we have more responsibilities, that having fun together and making fun images is still possible. So, albeit we have to like schedule it now, which is incredibly lame. There's another sub-series brewing in this Polaroid series, which is taking photos while driving. I've done it for my whole photography career. Still haven't gotten to a wreck due to that, which, you know, is surprising because I've gotten into a lot of wrecks, but I've never gotten to a wreck that involved me taking photos. But this is when I drive through the gorge on the way to Chattanooga, which you've seen me do throughout these videos, throughout this project, throughout videos I've done for the Small Town Photo Project. And if you have followed my career for the past 10 to 15 years, you've seen me drive on this road 1,000 times. And you've probably seen photos from it about 1,000 times. So I like taking photos while driving. I can't be stopped. I just can't. And so there's just a lot of these that I'll look back on and be like, oh, I remember that spot. This one, I love this photo. Throughout this series of images, throughout these daily photos, I utilize this window in our back door all the time. And I've talked about that before. And it's just been a cool spot. Like when we move out of this house one day, I'll have to find new parts of my next place to really focus in on. But I have I'm unintentionally documenting my house when I shoot photos like this. So I'm gonna look back and be like, oh yeah, the house. Oh yeah, in that house we had this window and I really shot a lot of this part or that part. Or, you know, when you're a photographer, there are just things you repeat, you do a lot that you don't necessarily think about, but then when you look back at your work, you're like, oh wow, in that time in my life, I just shot a lot of photos here and did this. And so yeah, this little box right here is in a lot of my work during the time I live in this house. So another driving photo, but I like how cleanly it's kind of cut off. This is, it was a foggy morning. I was driving over the same bridge that I drive when I exit my town over our giant lake. And I took a shot to the right and I took a shot to the left, and I just happened to match it up where they're perfectly even. And I really like this photo a lot. I don't think I have this as available as a print yet, but I may very well offer that soon. I've got to switch out some prints on there here soon, which I'll probably do leading up to Christmas. And this is kind of the thing I am after a lot. This kind of nails it for me. This is a photo, we have a sitting room. Makes it sound fancy. We have a very small house. The sitting room is just like a little room off the living room. And I have my video games and a small TV in there. And I was sitting in there watching, I don't remember what I was watching. And I was sitting there in the dark, and Anna walked by the door in there, and it just looked cool. And so I shot, this is actually a triple exposure. So I had her just stand in front of the door, and I shot a photo of her. I had it on a tripod because it was just so dark in there. I didn't know if it could be stable. And I never use tripods, so that's how much I wanted the shot. But I wanted to fill in all the dark space around the door because it was just her in the middle here. And so what I did is I held my focus. I half pressed the Polaroid i2 button so that the focus would hold at infinity or whatever it was at when I shot the photo of her. And then I shot the side of the door, and then for the third exposure, shot this side of the door to fill in these spaces, and they stayed out of focus because I was focused at a certain length. So I was able to fill in the whole frame here. And this is what I'm talking about, because this photo is a document of our house, my wife, this moment in time when I was just sitting in that room in the dark, probably watching TV, chilling, and just adding just kind of how I see it in my mind to the image. Because we don't picture things perfectly. We don't think about things perfectly. And I like to create that in a photo while still giving you something in the photo, which is why I'm not fully into just abstract double exposures that kind of give you nothing. I want a defined subject. I want you to know what it is, but I want to kind of fog it up a little bit. I'm looking to document my images in ways that I can get more information in each frame so that it's an investment, so that when I look at them 10 years from now, I get more of the feeling of nostalgia from it. So listen, I don't know how to invest money. I don't know how to think ahead to the future. I don't know anything about anything other than photography. It's all I've done my whole adult life. The way I'm creating investments is by taking a lot of photos so that down the road, I'm always happy when I take photos like this. And I've started to, and maybe you've noticed, I've started to put more information in the Polaroid because I always look at some of my old Polaroids and I'm like, man, I wish I knew what day that was, or I wish I even knew what time that was, and just give myself more so that, future Will can enjoy them even more and live in a dream world instead of reality. So those are my favorites, I think, so far of the year. I'm sure I could pull out a whole other batch of these, but these are some good ones I thought to give you that just illustrate what I'm doing here. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I've talked to you long enough, and I'm about to run out of battery in this camera now. So thanks for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at Will Malone. You can follow my Polaroid Instagram account at EverydayInstant. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you again very soon.